go.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. My name is Andrew of Cav. Today I'm joined by Aaron, Daniel, Arthur, and Mike. I hope everybody's feeling well. What have we been doing over the past week or so? Mike will start today and tell us how he's been going over the past.
Hey, everybody. So if our listeners should remember, I run a painting group down in the Bathurst Game On shop. And they had a painting competition, and I won it. Ha-ha!
Congrats, man.
There was a number of entrants. They all did quite well. However, I won the People's Choice. So,
yeah,
well,
People's Champion.
Yeah,
the People's Champion, yeah.
People's Champion, man. And got like $50 store credit, which I already spent. And yeah.
Tell us about your piece. What did you paint?
So I painted a wood elf on a stag. So a wood elf is a fantasy creature and pesky elf, and nice shades of green, light green, the dark green, all the colours of the forest. Had him on a nice cool little base, which was like a rockish scene, and he was prancing over the rocks. So and funny little story, we had 6 hours to do it in. That's the time frame we had it, and I was an hour late and left an hour early.
What?
And it wasn't really intentional, but everyone was kind of like, how the fuck did he finish so quick? And I was like, I could do more in it, but I don't want to. I want to go home. So I kind of like, I think I'm finished. Can I go? And they're like, yeah, okay.
There was some good variety across them, because I voted for yours in saying that I did know it was yours as well. But I found yours is the best all-round, not just the model, but the scenery and all that kind of stuff. There was one there that had exceptional scenery for the basing for it. Probably better than I'd actually ever seen in person before with it. It was just a shame that the model itself didn't hit that same kind of level as the basing did for it. And then there was the one where the person had tried to do the glowing effects, and that was quite interesting. Mm-hmm. They created the branches off the base to allow the model to radiate a glow all through their painting, not through any kind of lighting or that, but through paint colors, create that effect. And that was also quite amazing. And then there was also the ghostly one that used shades of blue and white to portray the model as a ghost, being a bit more ethereal and that kind of stuff. So across all the different models, and there's people that have been there for a short amount of time and a long amount of time, there's quite a large amount of variety across all the models that were presented with it. So for such a small community kind of event and that kind of stuff, I found that the stuff that came out of it was quite phenomenal.
Brilliant. I should have a look. Do you have like any pictures or anything like that?
If you go on the Facebook's page for Game On cards or whatever, they'll have the pictures on there.
Oh, I'll check it out.
Everyone else got participation awards. Although
yeah, pretty much.
It's like everyone except, I think there was like one person or two people that didn't get it, which kind of feel a bit bad for them. It was like, I'm sorry, yours were just a bit too mediocre.
Did everyone vote for Mike, because he's like, well, I would just won't teach you how to paint if
I didn't vote. I fucking
I should have used that. Why didn't I use that? Damn it. Oh well.
I voted for Mike, but mine was actually for the model, not just because I knew Mike. Like I said, his model, the entirety of the scene that was created, there was a great strength across the entire level. It was even for everything, whereas other models that were there, some parts were just phenomenal and possibly even better than other parts of his, but as a whole collective, they didn't match up to the same kind of experience with it. And that was the big difference, and that's why I voted for Mike's.
Oh, I'm blushing.
Really? The guy that runs the painting fucking...
Yeah. Well, I said to him I could judge it, but they're like, no, you can go in the thing. I was like, okay. And if anyone is interested, there is a D&D painting competition coming up soon at the shop, where there'll be purchase one of the D&D models and then you paint it in the store. Ooh. So see if I win that one.
How long have you been doing this for now, Mike?
The actual Games Workshop stuff, or painting, or
all of it, because you used to work for Games Workshop.
Yeah. Right? So what? When I was 18.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
When I was 18. I think maybe when I was 9. No. Well, who Hoorah. I think 18, yeah. So what, how am I now? 30? So yeah, over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Yeah,
Nice.
and so you've worked in the stores that produce these
Yeah.
kind of things, and
Yes.
you did painting, you did tutorials back in those days as well, I
Yes.
believe, or...
Pretty much every day. Every
And
day
now-
I'm shuffling, yeah.
Now you just do your services for free as a service
much.
for the game shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
Free
Anything
plug
else
there.
for you, or have you...
Also, I do my LARP battles. There'll be a camp coming up on the couple of days, which I'll be heading down to Victoria, and we'll be doing a week-long game there, where it will be, your typical medieval. Think of, everyone jumps into a World of Warcraft game, and you have your little quests people can do. You could sit around being drunk all day. You could. There's like a whole thing set up, which is quite cool now. There'll be a town. You've got stalls. You're going to have actual people having like a little library, little workshops on how to do things, this, that, and the other. There'll be a big tavern, a bigger tavern than before. Which, if anyone is listening, you didn't hear this from me, but you're not allowed to bring alcohol into this little tavern because they're selling it and it's a licensee. But I always carry some stuff on me because I'm not paying that fucking pricing for beer and shit. Fuck that. I'm going to bring my own stuff because I have my back. So hopefully I can get away with this time too.
Brilliant.
So you talk about the LARPing and that quite regularly. For someone looking at starting out and getting into that kind of thing, how do they go about joining in?
So check out the Facebook page. It's Bathurst and Surrounds LARPing group, Battle LARPs and Battles and stuff like that. Just type in Bathurst LARP and you'll find us. Join the group, like the page.
What about more national people or that? How do
National-
they go? Is there a way to
Pretty
find
much-
a local group for wherever these
Yeah.
people are? Or?
So say for instance you're in an area, you type in Facebook your area and LARP, see what comes up. If not, there is a LARP directory. I think you just Google for it, LARP directory Australia, and up comes a website that will have whatever LARP groups are in their particular areas or around Australia, and you should be able to contact them through that.
Is there normally like a membership fee, or is there cost
Not
involved in
really. That's
starting out?
depending on a group basis. So say for instance, like with mine, because it's so little and so new, I'm not charging anything yet. I'm supplying most things. But if you jump into say the one down in Melbourne, they charge you a weekly fee to do a weekly bash. I think it's like $17 or $15 or something like that. So it just depends on the group. It's very, very individualistic to the groups.
And is there any limitations, age, or anything like that?
No.
What do people need to know before jumping in?
Need to be about, I think, 16 or 15 above, age-wise. It's a contact sport, so we will hit you. Need to get prepared for that. And mostly everyone's nice, and they'll go, hey, teach you how to, fight and do this, that, and the other, and block and stay surviving. So it's a good. My group is a nice, cool little group, and we do trainings usually on Sundays. And for starters, once you get into it, you'll go, hey, I need a sword. Okay, cool. Hey, armor makes me survive more. I'll get some armor. Hey, I'm gonna, get 5 more weapons or whatever. So it's an ongoing hobby. Can't really just jump in and out of it, but it's fun once you get in and you don't want to get out. So
Brilliant.
what did everyone else do for their weeks?
Well, for me, it was more family time. I went down to Sydney. My brother and his wife just had a new baby, so got a new nephew.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well, congratulations to him. Let's sleep
right.
and all that stuff. So, all good for me. I go down, I visit, and I come back home. All good. But yeah, it was a big boy indeed. 10 pound, 9 ounces or something. Huge boy. But that's all good. That's all brilliant. So went down there, had a visit, and the previous week I managed to get my PS4 back from my brother, which I had lent it to him and his other son. I'm enjoying my PS4 again, which is good. Dan was kind enough to lend me a game or so, and it's been good to just get back into it. My son and I have been right into it playing the games. So it's good bonding experience again.
What were you playing?
Well, I've been playing. Dan gave me what was it?
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs. Yeah, which I remember seeing it a while back, a year or so back, a couple of years ago actually. Really, I wanted to get it, but I never did. But I'm enjoying that at the moment. Still playing the old Gods of War. My son is into his wrestling, so he's playing his wrestling. I think the 2017 one. And been playing a few other games, Lara Croft and a few others. So yeah, right into it, enjoying it immensely. On the PC side, I've been loving the Hearthstone expansion, which came out last week. Or was that earlier this week? I forget. But I'll talk about that a bit later on. Other than that, it's really just been family time, work time, and that's about it.
So what have you done on Hearthstone? Oh, we'll talk more about that.
Oh, it's a surprise. I'll tell you more about that one later. So it's been good.
Lots to talk about.
Oh, lots to talk about there. So I will surprise you. And Dan and I have had a bit of fun on it. A bit of pain as well, of course.
Oh,
That goes with it. But yeah, we'll talk about that a bit later on. So you guys tell us what else you've been up to.
Aaron.
What have I been doing? I had last week off work on holidays to rest and recuperate and not do much at all. Unfortunately, I suffer from a little bit of what we think is carpal tunnel syndrome. So it really does sort of, stifle my gaming ability. I'm not able to play for a great deal of time at once because it does hurt the old wrist. However, I went and had a steroid injection in my wrist last week, I think it was, or about 10 days ago. I'm just waiting for that to come good now, so maybe I can get in a couple of good sessions of play. Admittedly, I did turn Doom back on and play some Doom. Doom's always good fun.
Gotta crank it.
Oh yeah, get the chainsaw out and cut some dudes in half. It's fucking awesome.
For me, Doom is all about the soundtrack. Like, that music really gets you into the mood of just running and gunning.
Absolutely.
It's a very fast-paced game, and just the soundtrack is just, it's one of those things that so many games, they'll do great scores and all that, but this does a soundtrack that gets you in the mood of the game, like fast-paced, non-stop action.
Killing music.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. It's awesome. So I played some Doom, teaching a young fella how to drive. There's no difficulty slider on that one, though.
How many crashes?
None so far. We're doing all right. You've got
Doing well then.
We've got 30 hours logged, so we're doing okay. Other than that, been catching up on my Star Trek Next Generation on Netflix, and I got a new laptop actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's exciting.
My old one died, unfortunately, and it died a warrior's death. The touchscreen no longer touches, and the screen no longer really screens. So yeah, I had to get a new one.
What'd you get?
I got a Lenovo IdeaPad, an AMD laptop with lots of memory and a little Radeon card. It's actually a Crossfire laptop, so it's got the main processors, one of those Radeon processors with the graphics card built in, but then it's got another graphics card in it as well. So the game's okay. I mean, it's a laptop. It's not a Razer laptop, but the game's okay. Good enough to play Dota on. I've been requested by my son to learn how to play Dota, so it's another gaming milestone. Installed and played my first game of Dota about 2 days ago. So still working through the tutorials, but can see how you can lose a lot of time in that game. Hopefully the wrists hold up.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I don't MOBA. I don't play well online with others.
But you're just in the tutorial at the moment, so
yeah.
in the nice part of that game.
I'm in the nice part of the game. Look, I have no illusions that it's fairly full-on community, so we'll have to take my nice pills when I do want to play it online. But yeah, it's interesting. Like a lot of people, it's getting huge now. Really, I guess now is the time to take the jump. The last thing I played online was Final Fantasy 15, a Realm Reborn, and that was 2 years ago. So it's been a while since I've been online, which is interesting. Probably best that I'm left to play on my own somewhere else. But anyway, we'll see. But that's about all I've been doing.
What about you, Arthur?
Had a wedding.
Someone close, or?
I was one of Marin's friends.
so happy about it, like, oh, I had to
It was
go.
like, yeah, it's it was just a great. Yeah, that's my extended mic sound. No, it was like a very big standard winning thing. It was, I know,
Lots of
gave me an
drinking.
excuse to wear a suit, so that's nice. Game-wise, I don't know. I played some Rainbow
Back with
Six.
Rainbow
Oh,
Six.
Siege.
Yes, that's the one. My
Yeah.
friend finally made me play some. Which was,
How's that?
It's okay. It's not bad. Like, it's actually quite decent. Like, it's a very slow-paced game as opposed to Counter-Strike, which I'm a lot more used to.
So are we talking the multiplayer or the single player?
Multiplayer.
Yep.
I didn't even know there was a single player. I didn't even.
I haven't played it personally, so normally a lot of the Rainbow Six games have single player. But I
It
don't know
probably
about
has
that
it.
one.
I just didn't even pay attention just because it's not. I can't imagine it'll have a very compelling story if it has one. But multiplayer is pretty good. It's kind of slow paced, kind of drawn out a little bit. You basically have the defense and offense like you do in Counter-Strike, but the defensive guys all have fancy, like every character has sort of advanced fancy powers. So like one guy can trap things, one guy has a fucking sledgehammer, one guy does this, one guy has fucking Spetsnaz and lays like mines and sorts of weird shit. And then one guy has just a Gatling gun pretty much that he mounts onto a wall and blows things into bits. So yeah, it's not bad. It's but again, it's one of those multiplayer games, so it's pretty much you're either gonna play it for a while and give up, or not play it at all. Apart from that, I started playing on my friend's private Wrath server.
Tell us more.
Well, it's a private WoW server. So
Oh, nice.
But all it made me think, because it's got all those little things, like all the niggling things that they changed over the years. Because
Yeah.
it's like 3 expansions ago, whatever. So it's like, I realized, oh, hang on, this hasn't existed in a while. Fucking actual talent tree that's like a giant ass tree. And skills. Remember those? Remember when they had
Yeah.
skills? You had skills for defense and skills for like maces.
Yeah.
So and hit level, so you had to hit things and you'd miss all the time. And the game's kind of slow paced, and all it really
Wow.
made me do is go, oh, I'd rather just play the actual game.
Are
And
you
the old
coming back?
melee animation. Yeah, I probably will be now.
Ah, cool.
I expect me to resub for 7.2, probably in a week or so.
Yeah.
So what's
nah,
coming out at 7.2?
everything is coming. It's brilliant. I love it. I love 7.2. It's actually a very good expansion. Loving it at the moment.
Patch for an expansion.
Yeah.
So is it already out, or is it new content, or?
Yeah, it is out. Lots of new content on it. So it's got a new Broken Shores zone where you can kill lots of things over there, and a lot of progression on your artifact weapon and all that stuff. I'm actually loving it. It's really, really good. WoW has
There's a
never
bit
been
of
so good.
catch-up.
It's actually good. Actually, if you're just coming back in, it's pretty easy or pretty quick to catch up with your artifact progression and all that stuff. It's actually
Yeah,
they make it easy for you.
You get like a couple of million basically just from playing.
Correct.
And so it's easy enough to catch back up with the artifact weapon. Plus,
Yeah.
you know, the new raid. Kill Jaden properly this time.
Yes, I know, but that won't come out for another couple of months or so. But
Yeah, the raiding is...
it's gonna be good
Back.
though. Yeah, it looks very good.
Dan, what
Right.
have you been doing? Sorry. What? Just thought I'd move it along.
Yeah.
have you been up to?
Don't you guys talk, Arthur and Cav? You're not allowed to talk anymore. Like,
No.
Mike's put the foot down.
That's it. You've been.
Because I'm falling asleep, like my voice is like instantly out.
I don't.
Nah, don't get me started on WoW. I'll talk too much about it. But
I was enjoying the chat about it.
it's good. Are you coming back, Dan? You want to
Well,
come
I
in?
was- no, I didn't. I was still going to talk about it though, but Mike said no.
Alright, you can talk, but you've got 5 minutes.
Someone started stopwatch.
Hey Siri,
5 minutes.
start a stopwatch. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh shit, she did.
Alexa, can you hear me?
Why
Oh,
did you
wow.
want to talk about Warcraft? You hate Warcraft.
No, I don't.
Dan
Don't
hates
you?
everything.
When do I hate Warcraft? Yeah, I hate. Sorry, I hate everything. End of segment. That's the end of the podcast, guys. I hate everything.
No, seriously, what do you want to
Everything
talk
in hate,
about?
man, isn't that the thing?
What do you want to talk about Warcraft? I mean, you haven't played it for a while.
No, I haven't. I think we've moved on now. So.
Ah, pity. Cool. So what have you been up to? Tell me.
Come back to the dark side.
Star Wars. There's new Star Wars coming out, isn't there? The Battlefront.
Battlefront 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Trailer
Wait
for
a minute,
that. Darth Maul. Yoda.
wasn't there already a Battlefront 2?
No, just the
Old.
There's
first one.
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Ah, okay.
So I like the new... Because there was the old ones, and then they rebooted it with that last one.
Yeah.
Which
So
I think
what's-
is just called Battlefront, right?
Yeah. I think it still has Star Wars in it. Like,
Yeah,
Star
I think it's
Wars
just Star Wars Battlefront. Like, it's just a reboot of
Yeah,
the Battlefront
okay,
series,
alright.
because there was 2 Battlefronts before that,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
they've just rebooted it. So now
Yeah.
Battlefront 2 is the new one of the rebooted series. From what I saw in the trailer, there's going to be Yoda and Darth Maul, so...
Yeah, right.
I didn't actually watch the trailer. I'm sure someone did. I assume there's actual Dark Side fans out there.
Sure. I like Darth Maul. He's cool.
Yeah, I liked the first movie. I thought it's very different to all the other movies, and it
That's
stands alone in my opinion. But I thought it was still a great movie.
Really?
Really?
Arthur doesn't.
You hate everything, Arthur. What's going on now, huh?
Now talk about it, Arthur. Go for it.
Like, how many people, I very rarely hear anyone say anything praiseworthy about the prequels.
I liked the prequels.
Yeah, they were fun.
I didn't like Mr. Hayden Christensen, but I liked the prequels. I thought they were... I liked them because they
Yeah,
were...
Revenge of the Sith
good.
was awesome.
Yeah, I think Revenge of the Sith is the worst one.
Attack of the Clones, man. That they need more battles.
Okay, this could take a whole podcast.
That's right.
This one subject.
Go for it. Just
Like,
talk.
if the
I'll,
kid was non-existent in the first film, the Phantom Menace is probably the most forgivable one.
You can forgive him because he's kind of a loser now or something or other. He just doesn't do anything and his
It's
life's
nothing to do
been
with the
ruined.
kid, it's just shitty directing because George Lucas can't write and direct worth half a shit.
Yeah, he's a terrible director. I agree.
What is these things you're talking about?
Yo,
Um,
Yooka-Laylee.
Isn't that like an instrument?
That whole racist
Yeah,
commenting.
the whole
Yeah.
racist thing. Yooka-Laylee's basically the new platformer from the guys that made Banjo-Kazooie. Came out this week. It's pretty much Banjo-Kazooie within the limits of copyright infringement law, with better graphics.
Yeah.
A lot of people are sort of saying, yeah, it's exactly like Banjo-Kazooie, which isn't such a good thing because it's a bit poo. But there was this other guy called Jontron, who's this YouTube celebrity guy who got in and got offered to voice some characters, and
Yep.
then he went on last week and had some strong racist views on his channel, and the guys that were making Yooka-Laylee just went, you know what, you're done, no voice for you.
Funny shit.
He's got 3.1 million followers though, and he just went dumb, like went full stupid there for a while. He
Yeah.
was talking about how I don't really want to get into it, but talking about certain demographics being more violent and more prone to crime than other demographics, and then tried to back stuff up and didn't work. Basically did the whole kind of like PewDiePie thing.
Yeah, went full retard.
Yeah, he did.
You never got it.
Never go full retard.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, so he even used Nazi in there a couple of times, so you know it was a good rant.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
But I've actually never heard of Jontron before. Maybe I've been living under a rock.
No, I've never heard of him either. I mean, like, I've heard of PewDiePie and all that
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
but
PewDiePie. Yeah.
I've never heard of this guy at all.
He's got some gaming channels apparently. He's yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So the developers of Yooka-Laylee, Playtronic Games, have brought out a media statement where we recently became aware of comments made by voice artist Jontron after development on Yooka-Laylee had been completed, Playtronic said in a statement. In light of his recent personal viewpoints, we've made the decision to remove Jontron's inclusion in the game via a forthcoming content update. So he's getting patched out of existence.
Oh, damn!
Burn.
So the game was released a couple of days ago, so no doubt he's already been patched out. Yeah. But, you know, sometimes...
Serves him right, yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. You don't go full retard. It's as simple as that.
They just don't do that.
That's you know, that's like the United Airlines thing.
Yeah.
True.
So what? So I heard patch stories about that little airline thing. They overbooked the plane, and so they muscled some dude out or something. What's going on?
Yeah. They offered to buy his seat off him.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Nah, I'm a doctor. I got to get home and
I gotta
see
get back home."
patients."
Yeah.
And they went, "Nah." And they sent some dudes in, and they roughed him up and basically, kicked his ass and then dragged him off the plane.
Lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh, there's been a whole talk. The airlines actually can get away with that sort of stuff. It does say they reserve the right to take his seat, but it's a whole horrible grey area, and they should have probably just, upped the offer and said, well, someone else want to leave. Apparently he was randomly selected to lose his seat, but not being a middle-aged white Caucasian man, probably made that decision a bit easier to send the coppers in and beat him up in America. But,
so true.
My opinions don't necessarily reflect the opinions of the soap.
Yes.
Wasn't he an Asian fella?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. That's the thing. When you're not white, it's not hard to move you along. So funny shit though.
Yeah. So United Airlines has thankfully taken the heat off Pepsi a little bit, and the heat off everyone else in a classic hold my beer moment for a PR industry.
What happened to Pepsi?
Pepsi. Funny.
They did an ad with Kendall Jenner.
Oh yeah, hang on. Yeah, tell me the story. It rings a bell though.
Let me just try and dredge it up from the horrible part of my memory where I keep the memories of the Jenners and the Kardashians.
They did an ad. The whole premise of the ad was that there was this racial tension happening. The cops so there was a protest happening. The cops were in the line there, and to defuse the whole situation, Kendall Jenner just basically offered them a Pepsi to defuse this whole racial tension. And the whole Black Matters Black Lives Matters and all that kind of shit. So copped a lot of flack for that.
Okay. So someone should have done a parody and with like, you want a Pepsi, and they all get shot.
That's how it'd probably go in the real world.
Well, that's right.
He's coming right at us! Bang, 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 bang.
They start throwing Pepsi cans at the coppers.
Yeah.
Have some fucking Pepsi. You get cut.
Funny shit, man. Funny shit.
Yeah, so, I guess at the moment, major corporations in America are trying to one-up each other on just how stupid they can be. Then you had Jontron come along and put his 5 cents in as well.
As you do.
Yeah, so we won't be linking to any of that stuff. If you want to find it, go and search for it yourself. His comments are a bit ordinary. Let's put it that way. But back to Yooka-Laylee, though. It's been made over $2 million on Kickstarter. Everyone was this is the guy's Rare Games, I think it was.
Banjo-Kazooie.
They did Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie on all of those back in the day.
Nintendo 64.
Yes, they opened up a Kickstarter a while ago now. It's been floating around for ages, and said, "Give us money and we'll make another Banjo-Kazooie or Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah.
And basically, rather than a bear and a bird, it's a weird-looking thing that looks like the character from what's that Disney movie? Lilo and Stitch. It looks like the Lilo, the Stitch character, and a fruit bat instead of a bear and a bird. And it's pretty much exactly the same mechanic with updated graphics. I mean, they've got the rail riding sub games in there as well. So remember the old mine carts, you do that. The camera is still as annoying as always, as will always be in one of these 3D games. It's got the old... remember the quiz in Banjo-Kazooie? Before you fought the boss, you had to answer some questions, like sort of game show style. It's got one of those quizzes in it as well, but apparently the mechanic doesn't work half as well as it did back in the day. So pretty much this is Banjo-Kazooie without Banjo and Kazooie in it. $40, it has been released. It looks pretty cool. If you've got kids, it is on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It will be coming out on the Switch as well. PC, of course. Interestingly enough, it's also Linux and Mac compatible. Not many AA games these days are, so that's really cool.
True.
That's really, really cool. Maybe some of the camera issues and some of the issues they had with the minecart levels may be patched out, like they did with Jontron, so we can only hope. But definitely a bit of a throwback, and it looks pretty cool.
Very nice. That's actually funny, because last week one of my co-workers just started yelling, "Tookie tookie! Tookie tookie!" which is what the bloody bird was doing in the fucking game.
Oh, the Tookie Tookie sound. It's still in.
What, the new one?
Yeah, it's still that horrible noise.
Tookie tookie!
So I don't know if that was what Jontron sounded like, but now we'll never know.
That's right.
Well, did you see, Aaron, I tagged you in Facebook where they did the whole You Can Lick It video to
yes.
to Yooka-Laylee?
Yes,
that was amazing.
He's got two tongues.
Yeah, that was obviously the important part of that video. But because he goes around licking everything, they turned the song Whip It, so You Can Whip It, into You Can Lick It, and they run around with the main character, I assume, just flicking the tongue out repeatedly to the theme song. And yeah, I thought that was quite amazing. So
yeah, it was
well done, Achievement Hunter.
It was pretty epic, actually. The internet, using its powers for good rather than evil again. So yes, Yooka-Laylee, perhaps with a couple more updates, maybe a little bit less like Banjo-Kazooie and more like its own game. We will reserve judgment until one of us actually play it, I guess.
But, I mean, it was going for that spiritual successor.
Yeah, it was the spiritual successor, but for the reviews I've read, it's not so much spiritual successor, but sort of followed Banjo-Kazooie down a dark alley, mugged it, and reskinned it, and basically put it back out for a new generation.
But, I mean, it's been a while since Banjo-Kazooie's been relevant. Is that such a bad thing?
Well, I guess
obviously
not. There's going to be a lot of people that haven't played Banjo-Kazooie before, so this will be there.
Exactly.
So I would assume a lot of the reviews have been written by people that have played Banjo-Kazooie rather than haven't.
Well, that's who was excited. That's why people were excited for this game. Every time this game was mentioned before it came out, everyone's like, yeah, it's the new Banjo-Kazooie. So why wouldn't it be, pretty much a carbon copy when Banjo-Kazooie hasn't been around for so long now, or been relevant for so long?
No, that's a good point.
And I mean, the reality is, anything that's been done, like anything you do has already been done before. I think, was it South Park had the episode where Simpsons did it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the exact principle, and that episode came about as a fact of everything we do now, especially being so global with the internet and that, everything we do is been done by someone else to some extent. So nothing you do will be original. And so this game is obviously just another example of that kind of cycle.
Recycled,
Yeah, history just repeats itself,
And I
just
mean,
like anything else.
There was a lot of the same developers as well from Rare that came back to do this. Sorry?
Yeah, if you loved it that much, why wouldn't you redo that kind of thing?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to gift us a key, that'd be great, so we could actually play it and have a look.
What platform is it on? Just the consoles?
PS4, Xbox, PC, Linux,
everything.
and Mac. Pretty much everything.
Linux. Beautiful.
Yeah, Switch is coming soon too, so that'd be good.
Linux getting some love.
There's not much actually in the way of news. The only thing that I really had was the Xbox getting rid of emulation of their system. That
The
was
what?
interesting. The Microsoft banned emulators on Xbox
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, talk about that. It's
and Windows
that-
10. Well,
Tell
it's
us more
nothing
about
really
this.
to talk about. Just like I think the idea is that they're pushing for more proprietyware on their consoles.
I have no idea what that means.
Propriety.
Is it memory or is it something?
No, propriety is like, so in the way that Apple, when they sell you a product, say an iPhone, they'll force you to buy their stupid iPhone converters to use, say, headphones. You know, like the whole getting rid of 3.5 headphone jack.
Right.
Yeah, so you buy the accessories to
Yeah,
use
so
the product, even yeah, go on.
propriety
Yeah.
is done for the specific type of accessories in that case that they sell. So propriety used to be really commonplace. If you think about, say, the mobile market prior to really now, that every company had their own, say, charging port, and then they charge you like an extra $30 to buy like a charger and a wall socket and the thing. Like it was really standard up until micro USB came out, when everyone sort of shifted to universal. Apple being the odd dickhead out because they're Apple. But everyone else sort of did the Nokia thing. Like Nokia had those universal chargers.
Yeah.
Working over a Nokia phone, which is why everyone loved them. Because you can go to your friend's house and plug your Nokia phone into their charger, and hey, it works, magic.
So,
So we were sort of moving away from that side, and now we're kind of pushing it back because they're desperate to claw back their money.
so Microsoft was saying they're going to remove emulators. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the idea. So they're meaning that their app stores they're removing emulators off their app stores.
Ah, right.
Ah, gotcha.
Emulators on app stores and stuff have always been an interesting topic, though. They come up and then they get taken down, and then they come up again and then they get taken down, because whether or not the main system like Microsoft or Sony or Apple wants an emulator on there, it's then someone will get the ROMs on there, and then the original owner of the ROMs will be like, no, copyright, and then it gets pulled down because of the ROMs, not just the emulation software. But good luck with Microsoft banning it on Windows 10, where you can just download whatever you like.
Yeah, it's Windows 10. So it's a Windows 10 marketplace and
Yeah.
the Xbox
Yeah,
marketplace.
Yeah.
That's
Which
where
are
they
a
actually
closed
ban.
ecosystem, both of them.
Yeah,
So
that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, it's basically to get rid of the homebrew stuff.
Yep.
That people were creating, and yeah, it's I guess part of sort of direction we're all going. It's probably not really that big of a deal, but it was just an interesting little bit of side news that came out of sort of a week ago or so.
So have they already taken them out, or they're just thinking of taking them out?
No, they've taken them out. Yeah, they've begun doing it. So
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's complete entirely. Like you might still find stuff on there.
Yep.
But like they've officially begun the process.
Ah, okay.
are they going
not
to
like-
redact everyone's copies that they've got on there, stored on their Xboxes and Windows phones? Do you think?
I don't know.
Because I have an old iPad 2, like a really, really old one, and it's got a copy of iMaim on it. Now, that's an arcade machine emulator. Of course, it's I because it's an iPhone version, but it got nuked many, 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 many moons ago. And I still have it on there. You know, you can't update it or do anything with it, but it's still on my old iPad. So,
Yeah, no. With Apple, from Apple's point of view, you keep that. So that's no problem at all. Because number one, you can't update it. Number two, you can't. Do you know what version of the iOS you're running on your
whatever
iPad?
the iPad 2 can do. Like, it's an old
Yeah.
iPad. It's like nearly 5 years.
Well, that's the thing. With the iPad, you can't upgrade them. You can't update them anymore past, I think,
Yeah.
9.3.5. So if you've got it there and you don't delete it, you're safe. You're going to
Yeah.
keep that forever.
Yeah, That's right, and copies of the ROMs that I legally own as well on the iPad are fine as well. So
Yeah, correct.
but yeah, they don't. Apple at least don't redact stuff. I know Microsoft with the Xbox Store, there's a couple of games they lost the license for, and all of a sudden people had paid for the games, turned the console on one day to find that it wasn't there anymore, which is completely fair in their terms and conditions, but still a dick move by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see whether, if you did have some homebrew stuff on your Xbox that, when you turn it back on, it's gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people on the forums that basically pointed out that it's not, like, the console part isn't really surprising. Like, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, but why a Windows 10? Like, that's theoretically like there's a whole theory where, like, tech heads don't like Windows 10 because it's sort of more closer to that sort of closed system.
Yeah.
It's just another one of those little, like, niggly bits that you just sort of like, we don't actually like Windows 10. And then it comes out of Microsoft basically forcing it on everyone as it is. Like, heaps of people were like, I'd rather go back to Windows 7.
Well, actually, two quick little bits of news from Microsoft. They ended support for Vista this week, and the Creators Edition of Windows 10 is a thing now. So everyone will be getting the, the old nag that they got to go from 7 to 10. They'll be getting they're getting the nag now to go from Windows 10 to Windows 10 Creators Update.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my brand new laptop's already gone.
What's the Creators Update?
It's ads, more ads.
Oh.
Oh, no!
More ads, more personalization, as Microsoft call it, and some other stuff that just means that you've got to dick around a bit further into the privacy settings to turn everything off. But
Yeah.
So they basically look at what you're looking at, what you're doing, and then they will offer you advertising and shit.
I believe there's also a couple of updates to, like, their API mantles for graphics drivers and DirectX 12, so it's not all bad. Because I know there is a brand new AMD update that's just dropped, in particular for the Ryzen and Radeon stuff to work better and to have better memory access, I believe it was, in the Creators Update. So I've yet to install those, but hopefully they'll give me a little bit of boost to my brand new AMD laptops. So we will see.
Cool.
But yeah, ads. Yeah, it's always ads.
That's tech companies for you.
Mm-hmm.
I can talk about the Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, let's do
I'll
that.
bring it back to something heavier after that, because there's...
Yeah. We're awake now. So, what was it? Fast and Furious, The Fate of the Furious is the name of the game. We have, I believe it's the eighth movie, yes. So it's come out in cinemas, coming soon. It's came now. I would say a rating, probably an 8 out of 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
It had a lot. So it had your typical, your villain, and then you had, if you've seen the trailers, Dom is shown to be kind of a bad guy. And so there's a story behind there, and whether or not I should spoil it or not, I'm still deciding. It's your typical Fast and Furious, crazy stunts, outrageous things, cheesy lines. The Rock being The Rock, where he busts out of a prison and just starts doing, like, he could be Hulk pretty much without being the Hulk. Like, no CGI, just his Hulk. One little scene, he's getting shot by rubber bullets, and he's like, God damn, rubber bullets, pow! And, like, other prisoners are getting knocked down by rubber bullets, and he's like, dude, stop shooting me with your rubber, and he smacks him with the gun. You're like, well, fucking hell, man. How big are you? And so there's a few good jokes. There's a few good jokes about, like, he's coaching his daughter's soccer team, and then there's, like, agent dude rocks up, and he's like, hey, man. He's like, hey. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm coaching the team. The kids and the moms come and watch and stuff. It's great. It's great show. Come on. Like, there seems to be a lot more women here than children, and, like, it pans to the audience, to the women, and they're all like hot mums trying to get his eye. It's like, yeah, right. So it's so I'm gonna going to spoil some things here. So the girlfriend that he had after Letty died or whatever, and then she came back. So that the FBI agent, everyone's seen the movies, right?
Yeah, no.
Ish, no. Okay. Anyway,
Yes,
so he's
I've
got
seen
this
it.
kid.
I watched
and
the first
this unknown son. Watch the first one, right? Well, this is great. Anyway, it is kind of confusing. So they've got back on track. So if you've ever watched number 2, number 3, where one's in Tokyo and one's just with Brian, they've got back on track. It's refocused from, say, I think 5th or 6th movie, where they've jumped back on track with Vin Diesel, and he's like, "We got a job to do, and let's do it."
And The Rock was a bad guy last time I saw a movie.
No, he's always been a good guy. He's always played the cop.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But like, he was trying to catch him in the movie I saw.
Yeah.
And
then now he's kind of like, they're my team.
Yeah.
And I'm The Rock Johnson, and he's like, yeah, sure, buddy. So he does his usual shtick, as Arthur says, and Dom is kind of blackmailed into being the bad guy. And so the son and his ex-girlfriend, who is the mother of the son, have been captured, and that's the leverage this bad villain has over Dom. And so Dom leads his little old team on a merry chase. Like, how could Dom betray us? Like, what are you doing? And then he's like, let's follow him. And this is how I feel when people are chasing us. And a whole bunch of random crap. And so it's good and bad. You've got Brian used to be what's his name? Paul Walker, who tragically died in a car crash. He was the junior cop and yada yada. And then they've brought in this other, guessing no name fellow. He doesn't ring a bell. And he's the new copy kind of guy. So I think they're just trying to keep everyone included in the show. And I think that's what they're kind of keeping Paul Walker in the show by having him, have like this cop agent, special agent, FBI, whatever he is, character in the show. And then you've got your typical Vin Diesel doing his, it's about family and a quarter mile. And you're like, like there's a really funny and terrible scene, right? He's chasing down this nuke thing from a Russian ambassador, and the villain's like, let's hack all these smart cars, right? And so it's in the trailers. I'm not sure if anyone's seen them yet. The cars are flying out of windows. The cars are turning into zombie kind of things. And it's just kind of like, what is this shit? It has the typical things, everything you need in an action film, everything you expect from that. So you've got, and you've still got your original characters where it's, what is he called? Ludacris, and you've got the other, what's the other black guy called again? What's the other guy called again? He's the comedic relief, really. And then you've got like the hot hacker chick, and then there's a budding relationship between Ludacris and her, and you've got Michelle Rodriguez as the wife, and yada yada yada. And then you had Jason Statham in it as well, but teams up with him to catch the main villain, and it's very good banter between Jason Statham and The Rock, because you'd have The Rock is this huge American beefcake, and then you've got the British guy, and he's like, well, I'm Jason Statham, and it's like, your t-shirt any smaller. And it's just very funny, and it brings actually Helen Mirren in as
Helen Mirren?
Yeah, as the mum.
In a Fast and Furious fucking movie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the idea is Dom, or Vin Diesel, in the character idea, he goes to her. This is getting confusing. So the previous films, Dom was fighting British guy, and then the brother, which is Jason Statham, comes on, and then the mother, which is Helen Mirren, of those two boys, they get involved and try and eventually work to. See, I'm confused. It works together.
This is like an episode of fucking Home and Away.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of like Disney, or isn't it? It's all
Yeah.
about the relationships.
That's right. Well,
Let's have
so
a
it
look at
was
the
quite.
cast.
It was good because she didn't have a major part. She just had a minor one, but it was a good little cameo.
Did she drive a car through a building or anything?
Nah,
Oh,
not yet. We'll
then
probably
we
see
don't
that
wanna know
next
about
next
her.
movie. I bet you next movie she'll be there.
Is it going to be another one? Like they were,
Most likely, yeah.
Of course there is. They're gonna fucking
likely.
milk the shit till
because
they're
they
all
were like,
dead.
once Paul Walker died, they were kind of like, oh, we'll do one more in his memory and then we'll let it
Yeah.
go. And then
Well, see, The Rock is kind of. You can see that The Rock kind of bowed out of it because they're like, use your badge back, and you get, you're back on the FBI, whatever.
Back
He's
on
like,
the Schwartz.
he's like, you know what? It's family time now. I'm going to do my family thing, so I'm guessing he's going to be out. So they most likely find new people in, or they might bring Jason Statham back in there and take
Statham, dude.
Statham, whatever. I like Statham.
Statham.
Statham sounds a silly Statham.
As
and
opposed
then-
to Stratham.
Well, hey, Statham sounds better, man. And
so
Yeah,
how many
so-
how many flaming cars out of 10?
flaming cars out of 10, we'd say 8.5.
8.5.
8.5
Didn't you just say
flying
8?
cars.
Because
There actually was a flaming car in the movie, and they raced it at
Yeah.
the start, and he threw it into the river. Anyway, so everything is in this film. Go watch it, everyone. It was a packed cinema where we were, and it's your typical action flick.
Nice.
Go watch it,
loves it.
presumably, if you like the other fucking films. If you don't,
Correct.
like, it's
No.
literally exactly
Yeah.
the same.
You want
so-
to watch some dudes drive some fancy cars for a couple of
Yeah.
hours and punch.
Some hot chicks,
Yeah,
some
pretty
guns and explosions and possible scenes of escapism and
Excellent.
throwing a sub out of a water and shit. Yeah, it's your weekly fix of action.
Yeah, my
Awesome.
daughter's going to see it tonight, I think. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's a car nut anyway, but
She's-
she's
yeah.
going to see it, so
That's
she's going
right.
to enjoy it, I'm sure.
Like the only thing I could relate with the cars was like a guy was describing his tank, and I was like, oh yeah, tank, machine guns, and cannon. I was like, oh yeah. And then like I bet everyone else was like, I don't know what cars are, Mazda, fucking yada yada yada, Lamborghinis and fucking Bentleys and this that. And I was like, the tank. So
That may be the perfect segue into this little news piece I have.
sure.
For Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
Since the Fast and the Furious is basically the cunning stunts from Grand Theft Auto film. Everyone who watches stuff should be aware of Rick and Morty, the Adult Swim cartoon that has
Yeah.
risen to massive fame. There's now a mod.
That's right. Rick and Morty.
There's now a mod to add Rick and Morty into Grand Theft Auto 5. It looks absolutely fucking awesome. Obviously, you've got the spaceship and Rick and is it Morty?
Yeah.
No, it's
Summer?
both of them apparently.
Right.
So add it in there. But the trailer looks awesome. Got a number of cloned Ricks as well. Moving in again to more news on Rick and Morty. If again you've been living under a rock, you wouldn't realise that Series 3, the first episode dropped on April Fool's Day in
That's right.
wonderful reverse of roles there from the guys. Normally it'd be like, here's the episode. No, April Fools. They actually
That's
just
right.
went, you know what? Here's the episode.
That's right. It was awesome.
And it
Yeah,
was
no, but-
awesome. It was awesome. So they're developing...
That's why chicken. Ah!
They're developing with Alchemy Labs, a VR game available for the Vive and the Oculus Rift, and it looks pretty awesome as well. Another thing that looks pretty sweet. So basically, yeah, you're back as one of Rick's clones, and you've got to do missions and stuff. So it looks pretty fucking awesome. The game takes place in Rick's garage. So, all the shit that he's got in the garage, you got to repair the spaceship and build portal guns and all of that. And I think there's an episode where they had the infinite replication of Rick's across the multiverse in his garage, and they had to kill every one of them. And there was a scene where there was like 500 garages on the screen at once. So there's plenty of scope for it to be quite cool. If you've got a Vive or an Oculus Rift, it will be released on the 20th of April. A joke that's probably lost on most Australians because we would say the 20th of the 4th. But in America, they call it 420. So
420.
another little in-joke there. So there's going to be
I
about
love it.
30 American bucks from Steam or the Oculus
Wait,
Rift store.
I'm not getting this 420.
420? 420? You Aussies, 420. It's the suppose what would you call it?
It's the
ganja
stoners
time.
Stoners time.
It's the time to have a bit of a ganja, a bit of a smoke.
It's like how when someone says you want a drink and they go it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the 5 o'clock somewhere. But for stoners, they say it's 420.
It's 420 somewhere.
Yeah.
Correct.
So hang on, are they making a Rick and Morty game and it's not titled Roy: A Life Well Lived?
No, they're not doing the life well lived. I really, really hope that's an Easter egg, though.
Dude, that has to exist in there.
It will exist somewhere.
It's a reality game.
Well, it's called Virtual Reality, which is a pretty ordinary name, but
It's such an opportunity to shove that in as the game instead of.
The guy that's programming it, Alex Schwartz, did actually quote, the game takes place in Rick's garage, and instantly you would associate all the things that are great about Job Simulator. So, he's dropped there that, the Job Simulator's a thing, so I'm really hoping it's an Easter egg in the game, but we'll have to wait until 420
It'd be like
to find
Inception, where you play the Roy game within the game.
In the game. But knowing Rick and Morty and all the shit that they get up to, there'll be something about it that's pretty awesome anyway.
That whole episode where they go and he has that whole life, it's just like... it was kind of sad and hilarious and amazing. Yeah.
But no, that was my little bit of news I thought everyone should know. There's a Rick and Morty VR game coming.
But it's not Royal Life Well Lived, sadly. Sad to say.
Sad. Not at this stage, until it's released. Hopefully it's an achievement.
I guess that's the future of VR, but we're not quite there yet.
Cav, you might as well give us some info on Hearthstone.
Well, with Hearthstone, the new expansion dropped last week. Much to my surprise, I expected it this week, so I wasn't quite prepared for it, but I'm enjoying it. I did get the... I managed to get the what do we call it? Pre-order. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Damn this English language. That's what I got, and got 50 cards out of it. And they were running a competition in the lead up to it, so you could get almost a pack a day, an extra pack a day. So by the time it got released, I had 58 packs to open. Lots of good cards in there. It's actually a brilliant expansion. I'm loving it. In it, it's actually pretty cool. You get each class has got a quest they have to complete, and the I suppose good thing, bad thing about it is that your opponent knows what quest you're on, what you have to complete as you're battling each other. You're also trying to complete a quest. Like for example, the rogues have to get, I think they have to play the same card 4 times. Now, the trick in that being that you're only allowed 2 of the same cards at any one time in the deck, so you can't have more than 2 of the same card. Now, their quest is to play the same card 4 times. Now, that sounds hard, but unfortunately, it's too bloody easy for them. Unlike, say, the other quests that the other classes. So as soon as I see a rogue I have to fight, I know I'm going to lose because it's too easy for them, because they've got cards that they can use to. So as soon as they play a card, they can then bring it back to their hand and then play it again. And some of the cards are low cost, so it doesn't take them long at all to complete the quest. Once they complete the quest, all their cards or all their minions they bring out are basically 5/5 minions, and as soon as you know they're coming out, there's no defense against it. You've lost. Give it up. So if they can get a pretty quick draw on that one, it's pretty much a loss game basically, and it's a pain. And you know it's coming, and you know you can't do anything about it. and it's really pissing me off.
Is this the Angora expansion?
The Angora expansion,
Yeah.
yes, it is. Yeah, it's a brilliant expansion, but as I said, some of the quests are making the game a bit annoying, to put it mildly.
It's a stupid question. Like, in terms of the game, how quickly does its meta actually change? Because this is the thing that, like, one of the difficulties of getting into any collectible card game is always the sheer amount of shit that you have to purchase.
Yeah.
It's always been the issue in Magic, because in Magic you have to continuously buy packs. And my understanding was they kind of created... The whole point of Hearthstone is that it's supposed to sort of not have that problem as much. But is that actually the case, or is it in practice just as bad?
Well, the problem is that when you, like as soon as the expansion comes out, everybody jumps on. They get their pre-orders, they buy all the cards, and the meta changes pretty quickly. And within a day or two, the meta is completely changed. And it's a real pain, especially if one, you don't have the funds to buy the cards. I mean, technically speaking, you can still play the game without buying the cards. Like Dan, for example, he struggled in the last couple of seasons because he never purchased or he never pre-purchased some of the cards. And he struggled with trying to get anywhere with the expansion, really. So this time around, he's purchased all the pre-order and everything. He's purchased quite a lot of cards, and he can build pretty decent decks. But again, the meta changes or has changed that much.
So does it change and stay like for a while? Or
yeah. Oh no, it stays for a while. No, it doesn't.
Okay.
So in that sense, yes, it changes pretty quickly, and then it stays for a good length of time.
Right.
So it doesn't change again over that or quick as then. It stays for a reasonable amount of time, such that it gives you time to build up something that's going to be worthy of that meta, if you will. So in that sense, it's good in that case. But again, as I said, the game itself, they say that you don't have to buy things to enjoy the game, but to be competitive, you do have to purchase the cards. If you want to be competitive, you just want to just in there just to have fun, have a go at it, then you can probably get away without having to purchase anything, because you can, through playing the game, you can build up decks over time, although it's a bit slower.
Yeah, well, I guess if the meta doesn't shift too quickly, you can get away without buying.
Oh no, the meta is quite stable, so I'll give it that much. It's pretty good.
Well, thanks very much for listening. That's the end of this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get talking on the social media about us. And we'll be back for another podcast very soon.